Here we have a question about waves, and it's going to be a practical based question as well, which you can tell just from this diagram, which is hopefully one you've done. If not, there is a similar practical in the practical section of the YouTube channel. The motor makes a noise when it's turned on. Describe the difference between sound waves and the water waves. So if we start with sound waves, they are longitudinal. Longitudinal. So oscillations, or energy transfer would be better, is parallel excuse me, to the oscillations. That's 2 marks, one for the longitudinal, one for what it means. So water waves are transverse. So energy transfer is perpendicular to oscillations. Parallel is when they're in the same direction. Perpendicular is when they are at right angles. Okay. Here we have a question about period and frequency. So you need to remember frequency is equal to 1 over the time period. And it's got 8.3 milliseconds. Okay, well we need to convert that to seconds. That means thousands. So it would be 0.0083. Just moved it the decimal place 3 places. And just do 1 over, or divide by 0.0083, which gives 120 Hertz. Okay. So 1 mark for conversion, 1 mark for method, 1 mark for answer. So here we have a question in relation to this practical setup. Explain how the student can make appropriate measurements and use them to determine the wavelength. Okay, this is testing your practicals and your knowledge and equations. So wavelength is the speed over the frequency. So we need to work out the speed of the waves and the frequency of the waves. Now, a frequency is how many we see per second. So using the white card underneath, we can make a mark and count how many went past that point every second. That will give us our frequency. And wave speed, we could choose 2 points of a known distance and measure the time between them. So that's a distance. We work out the time. That will give us the speed. And we'll just divide the speed by the frequency. So for these questions, it's very important you write down all the information you need and all the equipment. Okay? But the diagrams is a good way to start. Explain how a student can make appropriate measurements. So we would need a stopwatch. So let's first talk about the frequency. So to determine frequency, count the number of waves passing a point in 1 second. Use a stopwatch to measure time. That's a simple way of doing it. The better way would be to do it how many go for 10 seconds and then divide that number by 10. But that would be a very simple way of doing it. So that wouldn't get you to full marks. You'd need to do number for 10 seconds and divide by 10 for the best. We can then talk about speed. Excuse me. mark a distance on the white card using a meter stick. Time how long it took the waves to cover that distance. Speed equals distance divided by time. Okay, so we now have a frequency, we now have a distance, wavelength equals speed divided by frequency. Okay, so that's a very short way of answering it. You obviously want to go into a bit more detail and make sure it flows nicely to get that 6 mark for the quality of written communication.